Knon 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to knon.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
Good morning, it's the Workers Beat. I'm Gene Lantz. The number here is 972-647-1893. This station really likes it when you call. There's no joking about it. Today at 11 o'clock, City Hall, Trayvon Martin demonstration. Come on down. 11 o'clock at the Dallas City Hall. That's on Young Street, and I forgot the cross street. Irvay, I guess. Young and Irvay. Dallas City Hall. It looks like a building that's turned upside down. Trayvon Martin demonstration, 11 o'clock. I have been this week at the Texas AFL-CIO convention, which has filled my heart with joy and hope for the future. People have a lot of complaints about the labor movement, and some of them are true, based on, long experience. But since 1995, the American labor movement has been turning itself around, and the process is going on. Today, I would say without equivocation that the most progressive organization in the state of Texas is the Texas AFL-CIO. And the most progressive leader of the state of Texas is Becky Moeller, president of the Texas AFL-CIO. Not just because they're bigger than the other organizations or have more buildings, or more real estate or something, but because they really, really have good positions on women's rights, gay rights, immigrants' rights. You probably know somebody that's for gay rights, and you probably know somebody that's for women's rights, and you probably know somebody that's for immigrants' rights. But when you put them all together, the AFL-CIO is right there in the front. Not just standing up for one kind of workers, but standing up for everybody that works for a living. And let's face it, that's just about everybody. So I'm really impressed. I'm really carried away with it. What's your opinion? 972-647-1893. If you have an opinion, if you want to say something. If you want to clarify anything about the Trayvon Martin event today at 11 o'clock, like if you know who the speakers are, who the organizers are, who's coming, who's not coming, what the ins and outs of that are, it's a good thing. I suppose you know that the President of the United States has come out on the good side on Trayvon Martin, so that's a pretty good spokesperson speaking out for justice in America. We had a caller last week who said that it's only the media that stirs these things up, that there's really nothing going on in civil rights. There's no particular reason for the media to bring up any problems between African Americans and anybody else. And so he said, don't worry, everybody go back to sleep. You don't really have any problems with this. What do you think? 972-647-1893. Bonnie?
Good
Mathias,
morning.
what do you think?
About
What do you think? There's a big demonstration for Trayvon Martin today,
Right.
for example. Do you think it's a good idea?
We had to kick somebody off of one of our Facebook pages. I share with some folks from around the country because she told us that we had to accept and respect the verdict. I really don't have to do anything. I don't respect the verdict, and I certainly don't accept it. Regardless of what the jury said or what the judge said, we have a 17-year-old child dead. And a man who has now probably ruined the rest of his life. I'm sure he'll be looking over his shoulder for the rest of his life. Certainly, I don't know. It's a mess. It's a big mess. And I really respect the president for coming out yesterday, because I have the preponderance of my friends are African American. I have some that are my family, and I know what they have to tell their sons and daughters. I know that they tell them to be careful, to be respectful. If you get stopped, God, put your hands on the wheel, don't move. I don't ever remember growing up where any of the white folks that I grew up around had to tell their kids that.
Absolutely.
But we have to make sure that our African American children, and any child of color, they have to react differently in situations than kids that are white.
972-647-1893 if you want to make a comment. Bonnie and I have also been spending our time at the Texas AFL-CIO convention. And Bonnie, do you think, as I do, that this is a big turnaround in labor, that we've got a bright future?
Amen. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Richard Trumka, I have to look at this. Richard Trumka, the president of the National AFL-CIO, came to Texas to speak to the Texas AFL-CIO convention.
Yeah, and he said we were doing great.
Yes.
He was very proud of us.
He was very proud, and he was just, I love him. He is just so passionate and so on fire about the labor movement and it's really not all about labor anymore, folks. It's about us, working families. That's what he talked about. That was really the theme of the whole convention, was working families.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what it's about, and we have to. When
and it's not just union members.
No, it's everybody. Everybody wants to do better. Not just union members. We want everybody to do better. We want our wages to lift your wages up.
He had some good things to say about Wendy Davis. I wrote down one of his quotes. This is Senator Wendy Davis in Fort Worth. Richard Trumka, the national president of the AFL-CIO, said, quote, "Wendy Davis was redistricted out of her seat twice now, but she continues her rock-solid commitment to her values." I thought that was pretty good. There was a lot of talk about Wendy Davis, and she wasn't even there.
Yeah. And evidently they went back into session Thursday morning unexpectedly. Because
really?
Lon Burnham was scheduled to speak for, I think, 20 minutes.
Right, and he just had to come right through.
Yeah, he came through and said, "Hey, I'm sorry. Y'all are doing great. Keep up the good work, but I have to get back."
He had to run to Austin to vote against something.
Yeah.
He said they were putting concrete over kids. Had to do with taking children's money away from the school system and using it for construction projects, which he said will benefit the big donors to Rick Perry, Governor Rick Perry's campaign.
There you go.
Who are a lot of construction magnates or people that build stuff, roads and houses and that sort of thing.
Well, Bob Perry, who, God rest his soul, has passed. He was one of the largest contributors.
I think he was the
biggest contributor to Governor Rick Perry's reelection campaigns, and he's a home builder.
And it showed up when he got sued too for homes not being under standard and all that. And he managed to skate through it.
He did, but he's dead now. So which is really sad. He died way before his time, but. Hopefully there's no one there to carry on his legacy.
Well,
there's more that have taken his place, though.
Right, but concrete over kids was a pretty good slogan.
That's
I thought,
very
because
good.
They really did rob the children of Texas
again
in the previous session. In the session that just ended, they actually got some of that money back, quite a bit of it too. Let's see what Lee has to say. Good morning, Lee. Thanks for calling KNON.
Good morning. Good morning, brother.
Are you at the AFL-CIO convention?
I am.
Is this Lee Medley?
It is.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so excited. Good morning, darling.
Good morning.
Lee, what do you think of the convention?
I think it's really well. I mean, it's always good to talk with people that are like-minded. I believe what you were just talking about, the concrete, kids, was just an awesome analogy. I believe it's very true. I heard you say we got some of that money back for the kids. That's the bad thing. We're just not getting some of the money back. The Governor Perry should have never taken it in the first place.
That's absolutely true. Lee, tell us about yourself. What's your role in the labor movement?
Oh, man, I got more titles, but they don't come with any money. So I'm actually the president of the Galveston Central Labor County. Galveston Central Labor Council, have been for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
I am the president of the United Steelworkers, Local 13-1. We got about a little over 3,000 members. I'm the president of the Nationwide Shell Council, and let's see, a couple other things, but y'all don't want to hear all that. I was born into the labor movement. I'm actually a fourth-generation union member.
Is that a fact?
Yes, sir. And I'm married up, of course, but my wife is a AFT member, and her father was a good union member passed a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's the American Federation of Teachers. And what were you talking about the situation with the public employees there in Galveston County?
Well, they have taken the dues deduction away from payroll deduction away from our members in Galveston County.
So they're trying to break the union?
Yes, sir. They did it at College and Mainland also. So there was no reason to do this. They were asked to clarify, because they said it was cost. When asked to clarify the cost, they couldn't produce the cost. They didn't take the deductions away from any other group or cause.
Just the union members?
Just the union members.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty out and out union busting, if you ask me.
And do you see this as part of a trend, nationwide trend?
Absolutely. Like I said, we have some professors and staff at college. A lot of people see colleges and they see the professors and stuff, but there's a lot of people that when they show up in those classrooms are clean that have done that work. And those people need to have a voice.
Certainly.
At work.
That's right.
And they did take the payroll deduction away from the College of the Mainland employees.
And the teachers too?
Yes, and we have a lawsuit filed over that.
Sure.
They fired the president of the union, Dave Smith, a pretty outspoken guy, for calling out the president on an election where he had put out information that was not accurate.
Mm-hmm. And so they fired the union president. I thought union presidents had special protection.
Yeah. As one, if you find out about it, let me know. No.
Right. Right. That's what I'm saying. Where is it? Is there an insurance policy I could buy?
Yeah. Because it seems like, that comes with the target. I think that's one of the things that young people are learning, but unfortunately they're learning it the hard way as they want to move into the union movement. Unfortunately, I've got a few young people that are really interested in organizing, and of course, if women are becoming more and more essential too, well, they've always been essential, but I think we're right at 50% membership between the genders, which is an awesome thing. I've had it brings a new perspective. Unfortunately, I've been guilty of it as well. I had a young man recently that had 3 kids, and he had custody of all of them. They were all under 6, and if one of them gets sick at daycare, you know what happens? You got to go get them. Well, I didn't know that because my wife took care of the daycare, and so I'm just using that as a simple example of issues that we never even thought of that are now common in the workplace. And so I talked to some people that actually knew, and we were able to help the young man keep his job.
That's great.
Because while these companies are lovely and great, they would have terminated him over attendance issues.
Sure.
That's right.
I see.
So,
did you get to hear Richard Trumka speak?
Yes, and I'll tell you what, we also got a really special pleasure. Me and Nancy Hall from Nancy's with CWA out of Dallas, we chair and co-chair the Constitution and bylaws. And while we were chairing it, President Trump could, I really think highly of President Trump because he is one of us. And he didn't only speak, but he also attended some of the meetings following the speech. And he walked in while we were doing our business. We had just finished our business, and we had a really, really good 30-minute discussion on immigration. And, President Trump, his answers with us being able to sit down like that were just awesome because several guys had questions about immigration. And, he explained that, putting people under prevailing wage, right now they're not protected by the law, and these companies are underbidding our contractors. And, these men and women are just trying to make a living for their family. It's the contractors and the businesses that are actually the ones that are abusing this system. I've always said, these 99% of people are just trying to feed their family, and it gets harder and harder every year, it seems.
Sure.
So the legislation would actually help all working people because it would give those folks a chance to organize, but also a chance to the labor law would apply to them. About a couple months ago, Dean, I had 2 young men show up at my union hall, and they didn't speak English, and I was able to find someone that spoke Spanish, and they had been worked 2 weeks for a guy, and he just told them that he wasn't going to pay them. Well, I won't say how he told them, but so they saw union hall and equated union with justice.
Wow.
So
that's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Were you able to get their back pay for them?
We were. Actually, I called the Department of Labor in Houston and made sure that these guys weren't going to get walk in and get themselves
in trouble.
Ported.
Right. Right.
They assured me they wouldn't, and we were able to hook them up with the right people. But that goes on a day in and day out basis for some people.
That's right.
And I don't care who you are. If you give a day's labor, you deserve a day's pay.
Certainly.
And we don't realize how many people are under these situations. They're in the shadows, so to say. I think that's kind of overused, but and what President Trump was talking about would give these people a voice at their job.
That is great. Lee, we have to take a break. Can you stay online, or do you want to?
I'll stay here as long as you like. It's an honor to be on here with you.
We'll get back with Lee Medley right after this break.
Can you tell me what this all about?
The Dallas Summer Food Program is returning this summer. The DISD Food and Child Nutrition Services, the Texas Department of Agriculture, and other sponsors are working together to offer the Summer Food Service Program from June 17th to August 2nd for Dallas children. Meals and snacks will be provided to children's ages 1 through 18 at specific sites throughout Dallas. To find out more info, the phone number is 211, or their website is squaremeals.org. Or their text keyword is FoodTX at 877-877.
When they're gone for good. This is Scott from KNON's Texas Blues Radio telling you don't miss out on some great blues. KNON's Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 Blues CD. It's a CD put together by real blues fans for real blues fans like you. Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 features great local blues from Michael J. and the Paul Bird Band, JJ and the Detonators, the Chris Watson Band, the Two Tones, Rough Cut Blues Band, Jeff Stone with Charlie Love, Dave Millsap, Sirloin and the Ass Kicking Machine, Tutu Jones, Blues Boy Bo, Buddy Whittington, Andrea Dawson, Kirkland James, Sonny Colley, and Johnny Red and the Roosters. Get a copy now at Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, Record Town in Fort Worth, and in Dallas at Bill's Records. This is a Dallas Blues collector's item. A very limited amount of vinyl copies can be found at Forever Young Records, the sponsor of this great blues project. CD downloads are available at cdbaby.com. Whether you get it as a download, on vinyl, or on CD, all the proceeds will benefit KNON. For more info on Texas Blues Radio Volume 5, visit knon.org.
Blue Monday, how I hate Blue Monday.
You got to work like a slave all day on Blue Monday, but Saturday's a good day.
Yes,
972-647-1893 is the number. I'm going to ask Terry and Jason to wait just a minute and let us finish with Lee, because he's got to get back to the convention. Lee, are you still there? Brother Lee Medley, are you listening?
Yes, sir, I am.
Oh, you're still there. Okay, you were saying that you were pretty impressed with the position that Richard Trumka, the president of the National AFL-CIO, has on immigration and stuff like that. Would you say that there's a new day dawning for labor in Texas?
I believe so. There's so many people that still do not have a voice in Texas. And when you look around, they're good, honest working people, but we've always had an issue with, and I hate to say this, but intimidation of our immigrant workforce. And by reaching out to them, you know, when you sit down and talk to some of these folks, we have more in common with one of these people than you do with the people actually signing that paycheck, you know.
Sure.
When I believe that as you know, when we have young workers program and the room's full, that's a good problem to have. And I think they don't teach enough about or anything about labor in school anymore. So as these young people enter the workforce and find out the realities, you're seeing more and more young people wanting to be involved and wanting to protect their rights and understand their rights. I believe that the Texas AFL-CIO has a couple labor law classes planned for the fall, along with some youth worker issues coming up. So they're going to tie the two together.
And this radio program, and then there's one in Houston. So other than that, people don't hear much very good about labor. Well, can you kind of sum it up? I got some people waiting, so I want to move on to some of the other callers.
Well, to sum it up, Gene, is we're here. I see a lot of new faces, young people getting involved, and I think the future is bright, but there's always work to be done.
All right. Thanks so much, Lee Medley. He's the head of the labor movement down around Galveston area. Now let's move up to Terry, who's been waiting. Thanks for calling, Terry.
Hi, how are you?
Glad to hear from you.
Good. Do you feel that a lot of these union presidents are in bed with the company?
I'll let Bonnie answer that, because she's a union officer.
Well, I can tell you.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hi. You know, a lot of stuff happens behind the scenes with the union president and union officers as well. But we're definitely not in bed with the company, but we are in a partnership with the company because we have to be. I mean, if we don't form that partnership and have a respectful partnership with the company, then it's not going to be good for anybody, the company or the union. So some people may very well think that union bosses are in bed with the company, but that's not the fact. The fact is we are working hand in hand with the company, hopefully moving the labor movement forward and making sure that our brothers and sisters are safe and have dignity in the workplace.
Let me take a shot at this answer too, because I think Becky Moeller used something, a phrase in the early part of the convention, AFL-CIO convention. State President Becky Moeller commented something about the pain of democracy, because the labor movement is painfully democratic. And somebody might be in bed with the bosses, but he won't last past the next election. You can be sure of that. So we elect all our officers, and people watch them like hawks. And people are always asking that same question. You know, do you think so and so's in bed with the company? Well, if he is, let's get rid of him. You got anything else? Go ahead.
Yeah, I understand that. But, you know, a lot of times when an employee is a loyal employee for 22 years and they wrongfully get terminated and the union does not represent them as they should, when that person has nothing in their record, no abuse of any privileges, and they pull a race card. You know, they pull a race card, and the union does not represent that employee.
Yeah, it sounds like a very serious situation.
Yeah, it is a very serious situation. And when you go to the EEOC, this corporation is a major corporation. I mean, they're so major that they can buy the law firm.
You know, I've been doing this program since 2003, and I'm still waiting for somebody to say something good about the EEOC. I'm serious.
I'm waiting too.
I'm glad we have it, but I haven't heard anything good yet.
Yeah, when the EEOC does not represent you as your union should, you know, it's a problem there. You know, we're in a right to work state, but that doesn't give them a right to fire you for, you know, unjustifying, you know, what they say you've done.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? When you have a voice and you're opinionated, it seems like that's a threat.
Yeah, you're right. Unfortunately, though, on the job situations, you have to go by the contract. It's whatever the contract says. And the contract, you know, the contract don't cover, it don't say that there will always be justice. It goes into, you know, you can't fire somebody for this, they have to go through that. Right. But it doesn't just, it's not the Bible. It's just a union contract.
It's a union contract.
And Terry, did you also want to make some comment about Trayvon?
Yes, I did. I wonder why there was not one African American on that jury. Just one. Well, you know,
is that an all-white jury? I wasn't aware of that.
It was an all-white female jury.
I knew
there was one woman who was non-white. I don't know what she was.
She was Hispanic, but she wasn't black. And that's the thing. They chose the all-white jury, and that puzzles me because, you know, how can you say we're judged by our peers when he didn't have one of his peers on the jury?
That's a good point. Okay, Terry, do you mind if we move on, because Jason's been waiting for a long time? Thanks so much for your comments at KNON. Jason, thanks for calling. Thanks for calling KNON.
Thank you for letting me speak. Just what you was talking about with the juries, that has a lot to do with the war on drugs, because if you have a felony or anything like that, they won't let you be on a jury. And a lot of the unspoken elephant in the room is the war on drugs. And let me just state one fact. America has 5% of the world's people's population. But we have 25% of the world's prison population.
That's right.
Is that right?
That's right.
If you could have visit www.LEAP, that's Law Enforcement Against Prohibition .cc, it's actual police officers or former law enforcement, former DEA, who are against the war on drugs, who want to regulate it so we don't have these things, and so we can restore faith in our criminal justice system, and so we can come together. Because, to be honest, they would be very willing to speak on your program, and they come from a respectable point of view that more than I would. So if you could visit www.leap.cc.
Is that BC Bravo Charlie?
CC cat.
Okay.
LEAP, P as in Peter. Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. If you just type law enforcement.
I got that, but what about the last two letters there?
.cat.
CC. Okay. All right. Thanks on that. I just was remembering, I've forgotten now who said it, maybe Bonnie will remember, but somebody at the Texas AFL-CIO convention said that there are now more black people either in prison or on parole than there were slaves at the end of the Civil War.
Yep.
That's pretty shocking. Let's see what Michael has to say. Thanks so much for calling KNON, Michael.
How you doing this morning?
Glad to hear from you.
Okay. Bear with me for a minute here. I'm going to make a comment, then I'm going to make some statements. I think Barack Hussein Obama went to the White House too soft. He didn't go in there to try to clean up the White House. He went in there and let them dictate to him how they was going to run it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, my question to you is, how would you grade him? A, B, C, D, or F? And now I'm gonna make another comment. I think Barack Hussein Obama was a token boy for the rich people. Now he beginning to wake up. It's almost too late. I kind of think it's too late, but he might be able to get a little bit of recovery going on there.
Okay. Well,
so tell me, how would you grade him from A, B, C, D, or F?
Okay. Well, appreciate your comment. We'll take that. Bonnie, do you want to grade the president? You have to compare it to other presidents. That's the problem. The problem is, when you give grades to kids, I used to be a school teacher, and they always say, well, I don't grade on the curve, They say, well, I give my A's, B's, and C's based on merit. But the truth is, if you look at their grades, they all got the grades scattered just about the same, which means that they are grading on the curve. Now, if I were grading Barack Obama according to what I would like to see him do, I'd have to give him a Charlie, a C. But if I were grading him compared to the rest of the presidents that I know about, and I'm an older person, so I've been around for quite a few presidents, I would have to give him an A, because he's the best president we've had in my lifetime. Well, that may not be true, because I was born during when Franklin Delano Roosevelt was president, but I didn't really know much about him. Right. He died when I was 5.
Yeah.
So I'd have to give him an A. You want to give him a grade, Bonnie? Other people want to give him a grade. It's 972-647-1893.
I got to give him an A. I mean, I have to look at presidents in my lifetime. I'm not quite as old as Gene, but I'm old.
Nobody's quite that old.
Well, whatever. I look at the GOP presidents that we've had, and in my lifetime, and I've seen nothing but pain come from them. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's Reagan on down. I mean, it's really been painful.
Yeah. This is always a shock to me when I'm talking to younger people that were born when George Bush the first was president, or something like that. So they've never had any more experience than that. But on the curve, I'm going to have to give Barack Obama a very, very good grade.
Yeah.
One thing that never gets mentioned, but I am used to the United States invading every country that looks crosswise. When I was little, they invaded Guatemala, they invaded Cuba. I mean, they just push a button and invade somebody. And since Barack Obama's been president, they haven't invaded anybody. And they've been trying to get out of the ones that George Bush started. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I don't think that should be overlooked.
No.
Because all the time from World War II to whatever it was, he first got elected 2008. Mm-hmm. If anybody in the world did anything that American businesses did not like, they got invaded.
Yep.
And that goes way back, because I know they were invading people in 1898. And so throughout the 20th century, anybody looked funny in the United States, they got at American businesses, they got invaded.
Well,
and just one war after another one.
Yeah.
And since 2008, they have not invaded anybody.
Right. And it is, I listened to John McCain and Dick Cheney and Karl Rove. They were ready for us to go into Syria. Oh, we got to go in there. Ready for us to go into Egypt. We have to go in there. It's none of our business.
And Libya before that.
Tunisia.
Well, I don't remember talking about invading Tunisia, but,
no, but they
is
didn't
it Algeria where the French invaded?
Yes.
Now I was shocked. I said, wait a minute, somebody's invading and it's not us.
I know.
So I'm pretty pleased with that. And there's other things too. The Health Care Act's not perfect. A lot of stuff's not perfect, but it's better than what we had. I'm still reeling from 8 years of George Bush. And that was another thing I heard at the Texas AFL-CIO convention. They said, we don't like any more, we don't need any Bush dynasty. They said, the Duck dynasty is the only dynasty I like. I'm not sure I got it, but I know I didn't want any George Bush dynasty.
No.
972-647 is the number. We appreciate so much that people have called so far today, and some of them want to comment on Trayvon Martin, and some of them, I'm hoping people will either agree or disagree with me on saying that I believe labor is making a gigantic turnaround.
Yep.
And the key to that is what Bonnie was saying. It's in the past, you pretty well expected unions to talk only about their own members.
Right.
And there's a very good reason for that. The dynamic of a union is that your members elect you. And you don't really care about anybody else. You don't care that much about the retirees, the people that are about to hire on, people that used to work there, or anybody else, because they don't have a vote.
Right.
The only people who have a vote are the people that's working there now. And so you think, that's the kind of the dynamic of unions, so that the officers really care about the people that are working there right now, and they may not care about the people who live next door, because they're they don't have a vote. But this gigantic turn has come about now, so that the labor movement is, you hardly ever hear a national leader speak about workers without talking about all workers.
That's right.
All workers, wherever they're from, whatever they're doing, wherever they live, whatever their problems may be. The American labor movement is talking about all workers. Now, I've heard individuals talk that way for a long time. Gene Freeland used to talk that way.
Yeah.
He was head of the Dallas CLC for a short time. He would always make it clear that he was talking about all workers.
Yeah.
But now it's all the top leaders, and especially Richard Trumka, the president of the National AFL-CIO, and Becky Moeller, the head of the Texas AFL-CIO. When they talk, they make it clear that they're talking about all workers. Here's what Richard Trumka said during part of his speech. I guess this was Thursday. The president of the president of the National AFL-CIO said, quote, "Working people built this country, and together, all of us, we're the American labor movement, and by God, we will not be denied the dignity and the fairness that we've earned." I thought that was so cool.
Dignity and fairness. See, that's what it's all about.
I almost cried. We'll be right back after this break.
Worker who's leaning on a bended knee, soiled and tattered in search of relief, fighting for some unspoken belief.
Recycle Revolution is a local recycling collection service and community drop-off center. They collect and accept all traditional recyclables, including paper, plastic, aluminum, cardboard, and glass, as well as TVs, computers, lamps, light bulbs, batteries, ballasts, and styrofoam. They offer collection services to apartments, condos, and businesses. They also offer a community drop-off located at 1703 Chestnut Street in Dallas. For more information, 214-566-3025 or recyclerevolutiondallas.com.
I wake up in the morning at 4:45. The alarm clock is relentless. For
You're listening to Knon
Back to the
89.3 on your dial. Community radio, the voice of the people.
Yes.
This is the Workers Beat program with Bonnie Mathias and Gene Lantz. 972-647-1893. They love it when you call.
Yes.
We've been talking about the Texas AFL-CIO convention. Bonnie agrees with me, and Lee Medley, who called, a very important labor leader from the Galveston area, we all seem to agree that labor is in a turnaround. One thing that I noticed that speakers from outside Texas brought up quite often was that the Texas labor movement is growing.
Yes.
It's not gigantic.
No.
But it is growing, and John Patrick, who's Secretary-Treasurer of the Texas AFL-CIO, announced that there are 550,000 labor families in Texas now.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's over 500,000.
I think the reason he brought it up is because he said if they all voted, we could control a lot of elections.
Please, dear God, register to vote and vote.
They're certainly going to have to coming into the next year because not only have we been suffering under anti-worker legislators and governors for some time now, but it doesn't look any better for next year because if you read the morning newspaper and see who's going to run,
Jesus.
I mean, it looks like they're going to run Greg Abbott for governor.
Oh.
Now, this is a guy who goes way out of his way to find anti-worker legislation and promote it.
And if you thought Rick Perry was bad, get a little taste of Greg Abbott. This man is insane.
One of the speakers at the Texas AFL-CIO convention said that Greg Abbott will make Rick Perry look like a labor advocate.
Oh, Jesus. Now, that's pretty scary.
Call us and let us know what you think. 972-647-1893. It's no secret that Bonnie and I have opinions.
Yes.
We have strong opinions, but your opinions are welcome too, and your opinions are valuable. So call 972-647-1893 and let us know what you think. There's a demonstration today at 11 o'clock, City Hall, for Trayvon Martin. We will not make it because we'll be at the Texas AFL-CIO convention. I think they're going to let me sing again at the end of the thing. I'm not positive because I'm not listed on the program, and maybe somebody else is going to do it. But I often get to sing at the end of these things, I guess because nobody else will do it.
No, it's because we like you.
But we're going to sing Solidarity Forever.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I always want to go over the words to Solidarity Forever because these are inspiring words. When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? Our union makes us strong. And all the words like that are just so cool.
It gives me goosebumps. I love it.
It's easy to sing, too, because it's just solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever. Our union makes us strong. That's the chorus. Everybody knows that part.
That's right. That's right.
So I bring my old guitar to these things in hopes that they'll let me lead the singing.
I bet they will.
I won't be disappointed. I won't be disappointed if they don't. I just like to sing it. And it's kind of beautiful because I think there are 289 delegates at this particular AFL-CIO convention. Each of them represents locals and associations and lodges and groups throughout the country.
Throughout the state.
Throughout the state, I'm sorry. And at the end, we like to clasp hands and raise our hands together and sing together. It's really kind of beautiful. I'm always a little torn between singing, playing guitar, and wanting to take pictures because it's really a beautiful scene.
Yeah.
I don't think you've ever gotten to see this from the stage, but from the stage you can see everybody, and you know, it's strung out over 200 feet, I guess, wide, the ballroom that they're in, and this is at the Sheraton Hotel. Another good thing that I was impressed with at the Texas AFL-CIO convention was the number of young people there.
Yeah.
This is the first year that we've ever gotten union summer interns,
yeah.
This is college students generally, young, college-age students who take a summer to act as interns in the labor movement, and I think that they've been helping the teachers with their organizing drive.
Yes.
Teachers have a big organizing drive, folks. If you're a teacher or if you work for the school system and you're not in the American Federation of Teachers, call them up. They're having a big organizing drive and pushing to get back their full representation. And a teacher today that's not in the union, it seems to me, is just kind of well, something
Goofy?
is wrong. Well, I don't want to say disparaging things about workers, but something is wrong, because surely people realize that that politics is what's killing us.
That's right.
They're robbing the children. They're robbing the children and spending the money on concrete, and that's politics. So you have to draw together somehow, to organize somehow together. The individual voice is almost nothing. As we said in the song, what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? So you have to get your voice added to a bunch of other people if you want to have any effect, any kind of consequential effect.
Well, and I can tell you just the last few days, the power of the still power of unions in Detroit, Michigan. The city of Detroit, Michigan has attempted to file for bankruptcy to get their hands on the pensions of the retirees and the workers. Mm-hmm. And the union stepped in and filed a lawsuit that said, you can't file for bankruptcy to get your hands on my pension. So,
you don't think they'll do it? You don't think the city's going to get away with it?
No, sir. I do not.
Well, a lot of people have. There's already pensions have already bit the dust.
Yep.
Retirees in general haven't organized, haven't fought back, and so they've been the victims of this rapacious corporate drive to take away from working people. Mm-hmm. And so retirees need to get organized. And the good news is that the Alliance for Retired Americans coming out of the labor movement, this is another thing that the AFL-CIO did, was set up a national retiree organization. You don't have to be a union member or a union retiree to join it, but they've got 4 million members now, 104,000 here in Texas.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, it's
really good.
They're fighting back some, but a lot more retirees are going to have to get on the stick before they're going to end these depredations, like the one that they're trying to pull right now in Detroit. Yep. They're not saying what they really want.
No.
Well, what they really want is the pensions. They want to get.
They want that money.
They owe a bunch of money to former employees that have retired and worked their whole lives, gave their all to the city, and earned a pension and earned the right to retire. And somebody looked at that and said, "Hey, that's a lot of money."
Hey, look at that! We could pay all our bills with that money.
So, and we could pay off the rich people and the contractors, the ones that hold the bonds.
Yeah.
And we can steal it from these poor people because they can't get together and fight us.
Nah.
Mm-hmm.
Just a bunch of old people.
This is what's going on in Detroit today. I read the article this morning about the Detroit bankruptcy. I didn't see a word about taking people's pensions, but that's what it's all about. Mm-hmm. That's why they want to go through bankruptcy, so they can get a bankruptcy judge to rule that they can take away these pensions. It's outright theft.
Yeah, it's no different than American Airlines when they filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah, the first thing they wanted was everybody's pension.
Everybody's pension, and the judge said no.
Well, eventually.
I mean, we had to go through how many federal hearings before?
American Airlines had every reason to believe that they were going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And it was a fight. Thank goodness the unions did fight them. But it is working sometimes. They are getting people's pensions. And I think they have bloodlust on their minds in Detroit. The people who make out will be the bondholders, the rich people that own the bonds. And the people who lose out will be the ones who were counting on having a decent retirement and having their pensions, if this goes the way that they're planning and plotting it.
Right.
Frankly, I'm part of the Texas Alliance for Retired Americans, and if we ever get through this convention, that's next thing on my mind is how to defend the pensioners from Michigan in Detroit, because we're going to have to mobilize some support to help those people.
Yes, we will.
972-647-1893 is our number. If you want to call, we would like it. We've got, Ken's online. Okay, thanks. Ken, thanks for calling KNON.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, listening to you guys talk is like a breath of fresh air.
Thanks so much.
I commend you for your sanity, man, because when I hear people talk about constitutional rights and talk about the Constitution, they're the ones that's trying to take away your rights.
Isn't that amazing?
And It's like this. I wish that people could see what's really going on in Texas. It's the rich are getting rich and the poor getting poor.
Yeah.
And if you can't organize, if you can't turn Texas Democratic, if you turn Texas Democratic, Republicans will never win elections in the next 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're scared of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I heard several people say that at the Texas Alliance of Retired Americans. They said if Texas turns blue, there won't be another Republican president.
Well, the problem is, the problem is they have no charisma, they have no empathy, and they have no compassion. And
but they have a lot of money.
They got a lot of money.
It's all about money.
Uh-huh.
And if you look at, they only want two classes of people: the super rich and the super poor. If you take away your pension, and they can give you a 401k, but if you don't know how to manage it, if you don't have the skills to manage it, you're going to lose.
Mm-hmm. And the 401k idea was never as good as a pension to begin with.
Well,
never was.
The deal, the 401k was invented for us when the market, people panicked and they couldn't get any more money. We had these downdrafts and the stock market locked up. People on Wall Street couldn't make no money, so they invented 401k. And now they don't really care about the people that they manage. As long as they got money coming in, paying their fees, and they can gamble, they're going to make the money because they set the odds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's my stroke. Hey, it was a great pleasure talking to you guys and listening to you guys. Like I say, it's like a breath of fresh air.
Ken, do you think there's hope in the future?
Oh, there's always hope, but you got to have progress. You got to be able to ignite a power base and organize.
Mm-hmm.
Hope is no good if you can't put all the components together to make it work.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Thanks so much for calling KNON then, Ken.
Thank you.
Hey,
972-647-1893. If you have an opinion, I sure like that one.
Well, yeah, that was a good one. We like those. Of course, we like everybody. I mean, I'm not going to say
You can call. You can call.
Just call. You can call. It doesn't matter. I mean,
tell us we're idiots if you want to.
And this is community radio, so you can do that. I mean, I don't know of any other radio station that you can get on the air and call the host idiots, but this would be one. We don't get those. But.
Here's what State President of the AFL-CIO, Becky Moeller, said about Greg Abbott. You were talking about him running for governor a while ago. She looked around the room at the union delegates that were assembled there, and she said, he doesn't like you guys. Greg Abbott just doesn't like you. That was Becky Moeller, president of the Texas AFL-CIO. And you know, they can back it up because they had videos of him speaking out for anti-worker legislation, trying to find ways to undermine unions, trying to ways to get rid of unions, more of this so-called right-to-work business.
Right to work for less.
Trying to choke us down. I guess it could be worse. At one time, the state legislature voted to... had a vote. It didn't pass, but they had a vote to stand the union members up against the wall and shoot them.
Holy crap!
That was in I think it was 53 in the state legislature.
Oh my God!
So
glad we missed that one. Man.
Not everything is bad coming from legislators, though. You know, last election they elected Mark Vesey.
Yes.
For many years, and I'm sure that some of the younger people in Dallas County thought that Eddie Bernice Johnson was the only congressman, the only Democrat possible to have in Congress. You know, because she was the only one for so long. But last election we elected Mark Vesey. Who has Oak Cliff and has the southeastern part of Fort Worth and a little strip in between that includes my union hall, by the way. But Mark Vesey opposed the Fast Track Authority. Now, I don't know if you know Bob Cash or not.
Oh, very well.
Bob Cash is the head of the Texas Fair Trade Watch, and he's worried about another fair trade bill. This is like NAFTA. Of course, much worse because it's much bigger.
Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Yeah, the TPP.
They're negotiating in secret.
And this is, you know, the guy called a while ago and said he didn't like President Obama. And this is one of the things that we criticize President Obama for. He wants to give fast track for that TPP. Now, fast track means that Congress would put on handcuffs. And put on blinders when the bill comes to them. See, the president and his trade people negotiate a deal, and then a fast track means that Congress cannot amend it, in any way, and they have very limited right to even discuss it for a very short period of time, and then they have to vote yes or no. And when NAFTA went through, for example, I think they introduced that thing at 2 o'clock in the morning and passed it at 8 o'clock or something like that. And it was a stack of papers, foot and a half high, so nobody had a chance to read it. And but that's what the fast track means. It means that Congress gives up its right to read the thing and amend it and discuss it like any other kind of legislation. And President Obama wants fast track for the TPP. So Bob Cash of the Texas Fair Trade Watch is going around getting people to sign up, sign a petition saying, please don't vote for this fast track thing. And one of the senators, Mary Warren, is that her name? Warren something. She said that she was commenting about trade bills because the trade guy who was negotiating this said, well, you have to have fast track because otherwise it would never pass.
Well, there you go.
It says the whole thing has to be done in secret because otherwise it wouldn't pass. And she said, look, if it has to be done in secret, it don't deserve to pass.
Elizabeth Warren, I think.
Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, Elizabeth
you're right.
Warren. Yeah.
She's the one from Massachusetts?
Yes.
Okay, so Elizabeth Warren said if it has to be done in secret from the American people, then it does not deserve to pass the U.S. Congress.
And we had a TPP rally here when they were negotiating here at the Hotel Intercontinental in Addison. We had about 300 people show up and march down to the hotel and back from the park.
When you get a chance to talk to people about what they call free trade, I don't call it free trade. I call it globalization, because it gobbles up the rights of working people in the United States as well as in the other countries. So whatever they're negotiating with, now this particular one would take in most of Asia, and Japan's trying to get in it, which is, I think, the 4th largest economy in the world. So this is a very, very big already, and it's got Vietnam in it already. So Bob Cash and the Texas Fair Trade Watch, of course, are trying to stop this. If they had been around in time to stop NAFTA, we would have saved tens of thousands of jobs, because it's tens of thousands of jobs go away when these corporations get this. See, the corporations and their politicians are the ones that negotiate these deals, and the deals are that they don't have any tariffs, or they limit the tariffs, and they limit the environmental laws,
right? So
that, for example, if you have a law against poison methane gas, here in Dallas, their agreement would override that, and they say, well, we can go ahead and poison you guys because we got more authority than you do. That's what they put in those agreements. But the worst part of it is, I'm just saving this for last, is labor laws don't apply.
That's right.
They override your labor laws. So if you have a labor law that says people have to have a break for lunch, and they make an agreement that says people don't get no right to go to lunch,
they don't get it,
then theirs supersedes yours.
And friend, if you want to know more about the TPP and other trade issues, friend Bob Cash on Facebook. He is awesome, and he knows his stuff.
All right, we got to take off for the day. We appreciate very much that people listened. KNON appreciates you more than anything. We'll be back next week.
Thanks.
KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.